Updates on the United States drug allegations on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Whatever happened before he became president is not actionable. Hello viewers and welcome to Infogist TV. Daniel Bwala, Special Advisor on Policy Communication to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has addressed controversies surrounding President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's historical financial records in the United States, particularly those linked to alleged drug-related investigations in Chicago. Recent legal developments have revived discussions about sealed documents and their implications for Nigerians' global image. Bwala, speaking on Channels Television's Sunday Politics, dismissed the renewed focus on the issue as a political smokescreen by the opposition. There is actually no issue in this, he said. If you read the judgment, the court even dismissed the idea of joining the CIA. As for the FBI and DEA, the court only said if you think there are documents that haven't been released, come on May 2nd and talk to us. He maintained that most of the documents in question had already been in public domain for ages and accused the opposition of trying to mislead Nigerians. The optics they are chasing are fictitious. We deal with facts before the court, he insisted. If there is anything new, come on May 2nd, but I guarantee you there is nothing there. Bwala brushed aside concerns that the allegations, particularly those referencing drug-related money and asset forfeiture, could taint Nigerians' international reputations. These are optics, not facts, he said. In any case, whatever happened before he became president is not actionable. The Nigerian people debated this during the 2023 presidential campaign and they still voted for him as the president. Bwala expressed worries over the loyalty of Borno South Senator Ali Ndume, declaring that the lawmaker's spirit and soul have already aligned with the opposition, even though he remains fiscally within the All Progressive Congress APC. Bwala advised the APC leadership to be vigilant, noting that Ndume may already be positioning himself with the growing coalition of opposition forces ahead of the 2027 elections. Let me tell you today, and I want everybody to hear, especially the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, Bwala said, Senator Ali Ndume's spirit and soul are with the coalition. It is his body that is in APC. He is already going. Bwala linked and likened Ndume's political posture to that of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, who recently defected from the APC to the Social Democratic Party, SDP. It is better the way El-Rufai did. Just say I am leaving, Bwala added. You would give more honor and credit to El-Rufai that he didn't feel he could stay and be a snitch, reacting to suggestions of a looming political realignment involving figures like former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and El-Rufai. Bwala described them as a coalition for a while. This coalition is not built on ideology or national interest. It's a desperate association to grab power, he claimed. One minute they say come to SDP, the next it's PDP. There is no coherence, no policy, just opportunists. Bwala reiterated that President Tinubu is focused on governance, not re-election, responding to questions about campaign billboard promoting Tinubu's 2027 ambition. Bwala clarified that the presidency is not connected to them and suggested that they might be the handiwork of mischief makers. Recall that the United States court ordered FBI and DEA to release investigative files on Tinubu over 1990s drug probe. The United States federal judge had ordered the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and the Drug Enforcement Administration to release investigative records relating to the Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu stemming from a purported narcotics trafficking investigations in the 1990s, according to reporters George Beryl Howell of the United States District Court for the District of Columbia handed down the order on Tuesday, rejecting government agencies' attempts to withhold the documents under the so-called GLOMA response, a policy allowing agencies to refuse to confirm or deny the existence of the records. The claim that the GLOMA responses were necessary to protect this information from public disclosure is at this point neither logical nor plausible. Judge Howell ruled, affirming that both the FBI and DEA failed to justify their refusal under the Freedom of Information Act. The claim that GLOMA responses were necessary to protect this information from public disclosure is at this point neither logical nor plausible. Judge Howell ruled, affirming that both the FBI and DEA failed to justify their refusals under the Freedom of Information Act. The case was initiated by Aaron Grispan, an American transparency advocate and founder of Plainsight.org, who filed a lawsuit in June 2023 after submitting 12 FOIA requests to various U.S. law enforcement and intelligence agencies. These requests sought details of a federal investigations into a heroin trafficking network allegedly involving Tinubu and others, including Abiodun Agbele, Moz Akande, and Lee Andrew Edwards. Greenspan's FOIA requests were earlier denied by the FBI, DEA, Internal Revenue Services, Department of State Executive Office for U.S. Attorneys, and Central Intelligence Agency, all of which invoked GLOMAR responses. In his lawsuits, Greenspan argued that the agencies had improperly withheld information of significant public interest. He also cited a verified complaint filed by the United States Department of Justice in 1993 seeking the forfeiture of $460 in funds linked to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which the United States government alleged were proceeds of drug trafficking. The court documents include an affidavit by Kevin Moose, a special agent with the IRS at the time, who detailed the activities of a heroin ring operating in the Chicago area. The affidavit indicated that Tinubu was being investigated in connections with financial transactions that allegedly laundered proceeds from narcotic trafficking. There is probable cause to believe that funds in certain bank accounts controlled by Bola Ahmed Tinubu were involved in financial transactions in violations of United States laws and represent proceeds of drug trafficking, Mo stated in his own sworn affidavit. The same affidavit tied Tinubu to Moz Akande and Abiodun Agbele, noting that Agbele arrested after selling white heroin to an undercover DEA agent, cooperated with investigators and reviewed further links within the network. In response to the FOIA lawsuit, President Tinubu intervened in 2023 on October, citing privacy concerns and objecting to the release of confidential tax records and documents from federal law enforcement agencies. However, Judge Howell ruled that the public interest in understanding the records surrounding Tinubu's alleged involvement outweighed the privacy interest claimed by Tinubu. The public interest in learning about a sitting president's possible connections to a major drug investigation is undeniably significant, the judge wrote, although the CIA successfully defended its GLOMAR response, with the court ruling that Greenspan failed to show that the agency had officially acknowledged the existence or non-existence of responsive records. The judge ordered all other agencies, excluding the CIA, to jointly file a report by May 2nd on the status of outstanding issues in the case. Legal analysts say the ruling could force the release of sensitive documents that have long been the subject of speculations and political controversy in Nigeria. The forfeiture of the $460 in 1993 resurfaced during the 2023 Nigerian presidential elections as opponents of Tinubu questioned his eligibility. However, Nigeria's Elections Tribunal ultimately dismissed those challenges. Reacting to the United States court decision, Greenspan said in a statement, transparency must prevail over secrecy when it comes to public officials. The American public, as well as Nigerians, deserves to know the background to this is that in November 2024, it was reported that the United States law enforcement agencies had invoked the GLOMAR response over requests seeking criminal investigative documents concerning President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and others. This followed numerous Freedom of Information Act requests that Plaintiff Aaron Greenspan submitted to the FBI, CIA, DEA, Executive Office for the United States Attorney, Department of State and Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Services, and so on. The District of Columbia case numbered 123 CV01816 bar involves Greenspan versus the Executive Office for the United States Attorneys and others. The request sought criminal investigative documents concerning third parties Tinubu, Lee Andrew Edwards, Moza Kande, and Agbele, who, according to plaintiff, participated in an international drug trafficking and money laundering ring with operations in Chicago, Illinois. The agencies insisted that giving out information on Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu could cause damage to the United States national security. The position was stated in a memorandum filed by the Central Intelligence Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and the Drug Enforcement Administration before the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. Now, in 2023, the court declined an emergency application seeking to compel top United States law enforcement agencies to hasten the release of confidential information on President Tinubu. However, the three United States agencies filed their defense against the summary judgment concerning President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's investigations record.